Hey everybody, it is Philip from Friedman Adventures, and I have a really big favor to ask of you. I would love it if you could send Eddie Leland, Captain Eddie Leland, who is battling cancer right now and needs your love, support, and prayers. Send him a birthday card. His birthday is June the 22nd. There's his address. You can send it to him. You can send him your love, your good wishes. It would mean the world if we could fill his mailbox with all kinds of love. His daughter Heather came up with this idea. She wants to fill his mailbox with love, and we can do that. If you share this, please, with friends and in your groups, and get everyone to participate, get the Friedman Adventure family to help Eddie out in this really difficult time, it would mean a lot. If you'd prefer to email it, you can email me at walkwithphil@gmail.com. A mountain of love from all of us. Thank you so much. Please share this. Let's get everybody together and make this happen.
It's an age-old problem on the high seas. One boat runs out of supplies, the other boat has them. Now, how to transfer? That is the question.
Go.
Looks like the galley cook on board the Thunderbird, Goofy, may need to hit the weights.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a great day on the CJ today, as 8 anglers had 17 halibut. Tremendous fishing, most of it on the dropper loop. One of those fish was taken on a tube lure, but just excellent fishing.
Don't pull his head out.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome here to beautiful Surfside, California, right next to Seal Beach. On the other side of us is Huntington Beach on this. It's almost like raining this morning. It's very, very triste, as we would say in Spanish. Kind of sad looking morning, but it's anything but that. I mean, we've got so much to cover with you, and it's another gorgeous day to be here, feeling so blessed to, in fact, be here with you all. It's a little breezy this morning. I've got my wind in the back. Hopefully that is going to keep that off the microphone. And as I said, we're going to go to Ensenada and talk about their bluefin tuna fishing and other stuff that they're catching down there. We'll talk about the San Diego fleet. How did they do last night on the bluefin tuna? We've got reports from several boats that we've already talked to here this morning. And of course, we've got Cortez Bank and San Clemente Island and Catalina Island and the Channel Islands. You've already seen some of that great fishing on the CJ. We've got it all for you because you know what time it is. Good morning, my friends. It is time for the morning briefing. Good morning. Oh, thank you so much. Feeling much better here today. Hopefully I'm over that crud finally. Once again, as we let in, send that birthday card to Eddie Leland. It would mean the world to him. It would mean the world to me and all of his family and loved ones. Thank you in advance for your thoughts and your prayers and your love. I deeply appreciate it also. All right, my friends, let's get into it. And by the way, that fail on board the Thunderbird, Goofy trying to throw that beer over to the other rig, if that were me throwing it, I'd barely get it past the rail. It just dropped straight into the water. So he shouldn't feel bad at all about that. But it was pretty darn funny. Great sense of humor on that boat. The Thunderbird out of Davies Locker at Newport Beach. You got to love it. First of all, let me start you out with the Independents. Just got to show you some of the monster yellowtail they have been taking. Some of the biggest yellows they've ever seen, and big amberjack to go along with it on the long range scene. Independence out of Point Loma sport fishing. Pretty darn impressive. Down there in Ensenada, Pongueros continue to hammer away on the bluefin tuna. It's not every single day. It's not for every single boat, but there is some good BFT fishing going on for the Pongueros down there in Ensenada, Baja California Norte, as they continue to catch fish from 20 to 150 pounds down there. A lot of Mad Mac fish, so you're trolling around at a pretty high speed and catching those things, and it's been pretty steady. And in terms of what we are seeing down there, there's copious amounts, voluminous bluefin tuna right now. I mean, there's a lot of fish down that way. And as the water temperature continues to warm, it's just going to get better and better and better. And it's nice and close for the Ensenada boys. When they're not catching the bluefin tuna, there's plenty of good rock fishing, including some lingcod. There's been some calico bass, bonita, barracuda. It's trying to get together, kind of like springtime bite. But as I have mentioned to you all, we're about a month behind in terms of our water temperature and everything else. So be patient, because this season everywhere is going to continue to develop and get better and better and better. You watch the sea bass explosions we're going to have in the month of July. It's going to be incredible because we are that month behind. The limit will go to 3 on June 15th. It's going to get really insane. So good fishing down there in Ensenada, but hit and miss. And it's hit and miss in San Diego also. I mean, there's some really great scores down there on the bluefin tuna, but there's some misses also. And it's been that way here for the past several days. So I think we're going to see more of that. The Royal Star last night, Sam De La Torre is on there. You saw Sam hooked up as they were going into the sundown last night. Always good to see my friend from Island Fishing Tackle. Can't wait for him to get back so we can do our show Tuesday night and talk about the Royal Star and everything else. They had 2 bluefin tuna in their night bite last night. On board the Pegasus, they had 1 shy of limits of bluefin tuna. Talking to Jacob Barclay, he said, man, they worked hard and they saw a lot of fish. A lot. So once again, there's that hit and miss kind of quality to the bite. Some other scores for you on the Pacifica. Jason Zenor was on there. He said in about 2 hours, they had limits of 40 to 80 pound bluefin tuna. It was good. Really, really good on board the Pacifica. The Legend on a 1.5-day trip had limits of bluefin tuna. So once again, folks, as I have been mentioning to you, it is hit and miss. There's other scores that aren't that good. Aztec, 2-day trip, 53 bluefin tuna, 60 to 100 pound fish. Let us not take this for granted. It is absolutely marvelous for the boats that get in on it. Now, the full day boats that leave in the morning, come back that same evening, they're starting to get a little bit more of a piece of it, but inconsistencies reign there also. Some guys get them, some guys don't. Sometimes they miss entirely, but it seems like they've got a little zone of fish now in their crosshairs. Hopefully they're going to continue to hammer away at that. The San Diego had 12 bluefin tuna, 30 to 60 pound fish, 25 bonita. There is still that mix of Spanish Jack out there. There are Spanish Jacks being caught. And you know, back in the day, got to mention albacore one more time again. I mean, you look at the weather, you look at the water temperature, and you look at Spanish Jacks, that is an indicator of albacore also. In fact, back in the day, you know, before all the fancy sonars and the machines that put you on these fish, we would slide on flipping Spanish Jacks and catch albacore. So hopefully that is going to continue to progress, and we're still calling for some albies to show up here in the San Diego, northern Baja area. Who knows where else? Conditions are perfect for a lot of chovy around also, so we continue to watch it. Other boats on the local scene continue to catch some kelp patty yellowtail, as well as some of those Spanish Jacks. Big bonita, that's great to see them back, and every once in a while pop on the bluefin tuna. Grande, Liberty, all those boys are trying to get in on it, and they work their tails off and do some really fine work. Dennis Monahan took his grandson fishing on board the Freedom. Dennis, good morning to you. Thanks for the check this morning. Dennis had a couple of big yellows on the Freedom on the yo-yo iron, and Dennis is a big member of the Friedman Adventure family because he's getting his grandson out there fishing, and he couldn't do anything more positive and better than to do that for his grandson. So Dennis, my hat's off to you. My hands are full, or I take my hat off to you. On the Freedom, they had 11 yellowtail, good bottom fishing. Trevor Downing, just talked to him a moment ago as they are pulling into 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro. And by the way, they have a 2-day trip going tonight. Need a couple more people to make it a run. 2-day trip gives you a big advantage. You get to fish that bluefin for a couple of nights. So what happened on the Freedom with the bluefin? Man, as the sun was setting, the sonar lit up with fish. Trevor was thinking, man, this is going to be our night. And then it just disappeared. And that happens with bluefin tuna. They've been doing that kind of nonsense here for a while, and we continue to see that. Doesn't mean they're not going to bite the next time the Freedom is out there. In fact, when you're on a trip and they don't bite, I feel like your odds are, hey, this is going to be the one that it will bite. 2-day trip tonight. Freedom, 310-832-8304. You should give that a good try because hopefully they're going to connect. So there you have it. And Dennis, thanks again for checking in. Thunderbird yesterday bouncing around San Clemente Island. And I'll tell you, they had 16 yellowtail. Excellent fishing on the reds, 54 bonita, and some pretty darn good yellow signal at San Clemente Island. It's kind of up and down there at SCI. You get the sea lions driving you crazy. Sometimes the current is not running correctly. I mean, you have all of those factors in there, but nice hit there on the Thunderbird. But as I say, a little bit hit and miss. Chef Jason with a nice big goat. Nice sheep's head there for Chef Jason on the Amigo. They, again, have been picking at some yellows and, you know, nothing wide open, but hopefully things, as I say, are going to continue to progress with this weather. I mean, this cold water temperature is what I believe is kind of making it so inconsistent right now. We'll keep our eyes on it. Hopefully it's going to head in the right direction. Native Son had 6 yellowtail at Catalina Island, a mix of other fish, some calico bass, bonita, rockfish to go along with that. Pursuit has been catching some sea bass and yellowtail on almost every trip with a mix of other stuff. No big numbers, but definitely catching a nice little piece of those exotics over there. The Sport King had 7 yellowtail at Catalina Island. Cat shows some signs of life right now. Hopefully it's going to continue to do that, as I like what we're seeing at Catalina. Many times those yellows at Cat want the lighter line. You're going to have to throw the 15-pound in some cases. Fluorocarbon is a must. www.opsonusa.com. Put in FA, Friedman Adventures, at checkout for a free gift and a hug and a kiss from owner Greg Brown. So there is some life at Cat. And I'm telling you, you might get the right moon phase and right condition, and that sea bass bite goes off or that halibut bite goes off. That is definitely something to keep in mind. By the way, if you're on day-and-a-half trips or 2-day trips, you definitely need to bring a 2-speed reel with 100-pound on it, just in case. I mean, you're on the Freedom and you have that gear and you never get to use it. But you're on the Freedom a few days ago and they have 24 of those big giant bluefin tuna, and you're going to be happy you had it. So vary your tackle, at least 3 rods, something in San Diego, also 25 to 40 pound to fly line with, a 60 to 80 pound to throw Daiwa Zacanas, those small shiny lures. You want to have something like that, or to sinker fish with, and then the 2-speed is definitely something you're going to want to have with it. Incidentally, just to remind you all that Pat Whitaker is down here on the Manana bait boat. I've mentioned this to you, but it's worth re-mentioning that he says the anchovy that he set on the other night was as beautiful a chovy as he's ever seen, and more than he's seen in 20 years in this neck of the woods. That's great stuff. You saw the CJ as we came in here, 17 halibut on the CJ as they continue to do really great work up there in the Channel Islands, 17 flatties, including a couple of nice ones. That is great fishing. On board the Mirage, 8 white sea bass, 11 halibut, and 1 yellowtail. The Ranger 85 had great lingcod fishing. Mike Nickerson was on that trip, and they really put the wood to the lings. Many of you love fishing lings. I'm one of those people, and I love fishing bottom stuff, reds and all of that. Really a nice hit there on board the Ranger 85. Great shot of sea bass on board the Endeavor out of Ventura Harbor Sport Fishing as you are looking at their catch. Another good one on the Endeavor. Man, I'll tell you, Tucker McCombs, he puts in the effort every single trip, and day in and day out, they provide some of the best customer service and fishing. It's just fantastic to be associated with them, have them as a sponsor. The Endeavor, Ventura Harbor Sport Fishing. Don't forget Father's Day, kids fish free on the Californian, and the Island Spirit with Cody Rogers up there has been doing his thing. Pacific Dawn and the Pacific Eagle. I think the Dawn is still there. I don't know if they've taken off for San Diego quite yet, but they are also there at Ventura Harbor Sport Fishing. On the Gray Light, Luke Fitzpatrick was on a recent trip, and he said the exotics evaded them, but he had a whitefish. I know a lot of you are thinking, all right, big deal. 11 pounds, 3 ounces. That is one heck of a big Pez Blanca, let me tell you. That is one big one, Luke. Congratulations on that. I really like to see that. Up in Santa Barbara, limits of rockfish on the Coral Sea. They have their chances also at some great lingcod fishing up there, as well as some halibut, white sea bass, and all that other stuff. So, let's keep our eyes on it. It's going to be a fun day today. I can tell you that. We run those shorts throughout the day for all of you to keep you in touch with the very latest. Basically, it's a 30-second fishing update that gets you in touch with the very latest. You get to see it, you get to hear it, you get to hear about the tackle and everything else in about 30 seconds. So we'll be having more of that for you here today as we continue to monitor it. All right, my friends, have a wonderful morning today. It's a gorgeous Thursday. We're getting ready for Father's Day weekend. And finally, I'm starting to feel a little better. It's about time I quit whining about that. Don't forget about Eddie Leland, battling cancer, birthday card, old school, U.S. Postal. If you could send it that way, that would be absolutely fabulous. All right, have a great day. Have a great morning. Thanks again for taking the time to spend a few moments with me here this morning. Morning briefings in the book, and I hope to see you really, really soon.